I've actually used a lot of Dollar Tree art supplies before, but I've never ever seen air dry clay. And I've used air dry clay before, and it's overpriced, it's chalky, it's dry, it has a weird texture. So when I saw these, I was like, I have to try them because I've tried their X-Acto knives, a few of their paints, a few of their canvases. I even used like from their cake section, I used a palette from there as like my little palette knives. I've taken a ceramics class before, and this clay feels a lot like the clay that I used for that class. It's actually not dry, it's pretty moisty and it wedges really well. It wedges just like the clay that I used. I don't know what name of the clay that I used in class, but it looks a lot like this. I just was so excited to try out this clay. I didn't really have like a design in mind. I didn't even know what I was gonna make, so I just thought I'd make a little trinket holder with a top so I can close it. And for the aesthetic, I had in mind the traditional Mexican pottery aesthetic. I really liked the little dots that they use that are such simple dots, but they make such an intricate design. And I actually went with it with the limited colors that I had, and I just had to repaint it all over again, and you'll see just how different it looks. You'll see a little bit. Another struggle that I had was I was very limited on my supplies. Not all of my supplies that I had for ceramics class made it. A lot of them got mold, so I had to throw them away. So I have very little things to work with. Like I said, I also had very limited colors to work with, like acrylic paints. But the clay itself is actually really good, as you can see. I set it out to dry, and it dried completely. And it's such a smooth texture. I didn't have to sand it or anything. That's just how smooth it came out. For the painting part of it, I originally wanted to show as much as the bare clay as I could, but I ended up changing the aesthetic because just the colors weren't working for me. It just looked too crowded and the colors weren't complementing each other. It just looked awful. So I ended up painting over it completely. I actually taped a little bit so you can still see the bare clay, and I went with this ocean seashell aesthetic. I honestly do miss ceramics class. I didn't learn a lot because it was like peak pandemic and we weren't allowed to be in class much, which I thought was totally unfair but completely understandable. So when I saw this air dry clay, I thought that it would be perfect for me because I really do want to tap into ceramics again. So this was the perfect opportunity for me. These are some of the things that I did in ceramics class. Like I said, I had a lot of fun. I really do enjoy making like pottery and mugs and even sculptures. I love that it combines 3D and 2D art into one. Even though I changed my design completely from how it originally started, I still wanted to incorporate the little dots that I mentioned before that really give it that traditional Mexican pottery. Even though I personally don't think it looks like that aesthetic anymore, I still like that I found a way to incorporate those shapes into my piece. I also really like that I managed to still show some of that bare clay that I originally wanted. And I really like how I added even more volume to this 3D piece using like clumps of Mod Podge and clumps of acrylic paint to create the seashells. Since I didn't have any more clay, and it was already painted over, I couldn't add more clay. But I really wanted these seashells surrounding it and the seashell on top with the heart. So I used a thick amount of paint and thick amounts of Mod Podge to really create those seashells around it and the seashell on top. Although at first I really didn't know what I was going to create, I was just winging it. I think it turned out really cute. I really like this unexpected seashell aesthetic that I was going for. And as for the clay, the Dollar Tree clay that was only $1.25, I would say it is definitely a 10 out of 10. It works amazing. It is solid. It doesn't feel too light or too heavy after I'm done with all of it and painting it and varnishing it and everything. It feels great. It dried amazing. Not that many cracks. Very smooth. No like uneven spots. And you can dry it indoors or outdoors. I did a little bit of both. So for $1.25, I would say definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. Let me know if there's anything you want me to try out, anything from the dollar store or from a discount store or maybe even like an art store. If there's a particular product that sounds interesting, I would love to try it out. This was actually very fun. I definitely want to try out more things, especially very intricate and interesting products like clay for $1. My go-to is like oil and acrylic painting on canvas, but I do a lot of other mediums, as you can see. So anything you want to see me try, leave it below. I post my art on my social media. I have an Instagram, TikTok, and I recently opened up a Bluesky at LeslieJ_art. Thank you so much for watching my first video. More videos to come, and of course I also post shorts. So see you until then.